Good morning. I figured I would just take a little bit of time before I walk into the store and start getting it ready for the day, to just chat for a second and just record something, you know. And what I really need to do is just get better at doing this shit and just posting this shit on fucking YouTube and stop making it harder than it needs to be. Okay? Anyway. So today marks 15 years since my brother passed away. And it is actually really fucking crazy how time really does fly. Okay. I don't know whose message is for today. I don't even know if I'm posting it, honestly. But time really does fly. I was talking to this guy that I'm dating about this last night. I'm like, it's so weird because I remember more of the night before he had passed away, and I was like still holding on to some shame about it, you know. That's what I'm drinking today. This is an iced pumpkin, this is a venti pumpkin cream cold brew with half a pump of vanilla syrup, 1 pump of brown sugar, and just a little splash of almond milk. Yeah, that's what I needed, exactly. Sometimes that should be too bitter. Okay. But today marks 15 years, and I was telling him, I was like, I actually remember the night before first, because I remember the day when I got the phone call, how I immediately had regret. Like, I instantly had regret. And it's so distinct. I remember that, like, the night before will be burned into my memory because of today. Like, that's just what it is, you know? And unfortunately, like, there's no way around. I can't, like, reverse time and be like, oh my God, I would answer the phone and figure out what he wanted to say to me before he passed away. But, you know, it is what it is. And you know what? I actually feel like it was yesterday that marks the 15 years. Because I feel like he passed away that night. I think it was yesterday night that happened, and I've been holding, because I found out on the 29th. So I actually even feel like it was the 28th that he actually passed away, and I got the phone call on Saturday, which was 29th. I was with my family, my adopted family. I was with them, like my mom's brother and his now ex-wife, my aunt, and we were hanging out over there. And there's already so many things in my life that was happening, and I was 19 years old when this was going on, and I had just gone through my parents' divorce, and that was fresh still. I just graduated from high school. My friend, well, let me back up. My friend had passed away. She committed suicide. My friend's sister did. In 2008. And then 2000, oh my God, it's been 16 years. Wow. Oh no, it's been 15 because it was 2010. So then the following year, oh my God, how fucking old was I? Yeah, no, I was 19. Praise. The following year in 2010, in August, my brother had passed away. And I remember that my parents just gone through a divorce, like all of these things were happening. I was going through college. And yes, there we go. I was going through college, and I remember taking a leave of absence for like a month or two because I was just unwell. Like, I was unwell, you know, and I didn't have the support system around me that I needed at the time. My parents were there, very distant. They were going through their own shit, you know what I mean? So they didn't even have the tools to be able to be there for their kids, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of people will resonate with this, but I remember that there's just so much happening, and like I said, I was a child. I was 19 years old, like, and I know people are like, you were an adult. No, you still have a child mind, okay? And I remember when my now 21-year-old niece, she was 19 at the time, I was like, she's an adult, she can handle this, this, and this. And I remember back to where I was at 19, and I know for a fucking fact that I couldn't handle that shit. I couldn't. And to be honest with you, in 2010, when my brother had passed away, was the start and the mark of when I started smoking weed. And the reason why I started smoking weed was because that was helping me cope. And the person that got me into started smoking, and I will forever be thankful for her. Not because of that, but because she was very insistent on me not being by myself. Like, she was very adamant on, like, you don't need to be going through this on your own. Like, you don't need to be, you know, whatever, like, you don't need to be on your own during this trauma right now. And she was not wrong, you know. But I didn't realize what that was really doing, you know, and because I didn't have that, you know, supporting, nurturing, you know, hold of being in the bosom of my family, I went and I sought that outward and externally from my family unit when I should have been able to turn to my family for that comfort, for that care, for that protection. And I didn't get that at all because of the things that were going on already prior to this going on. And there's so much more to this backstory that I just don't have the time to put into this video right now. But it was just on my mind. It was on my spirit. I needed to get it off. And so I'm recording this before I got to go in and open the store. And I just wanted to say to myself and anybody else that's listening to this and wherever it goes, like, you were a kid when this stuff was going on. Like, you already had so much shit that you had to deal with from your actual childhood that didn't even get acknowledged, let alone dealt with by the people who should be helping you through this or giving you the skills to cope and deal through this. And not bring it into your adulthood. But you were a kid. You were a parentified child. The things that I experienced growing up, and that's not to say my childhood was bad. That just means there was a lot of fucking trauma, and I learned how to just push it away. Honestly, I did. And now as an adult, like, I have to deal with this stuff, you know? And so that's what this whole memory brings up for me, is just how I really have been out here going through this shit on my fucking own. And there have been some influential people in my life, you know, that have come in and made their presence known. But there have been a lot of times where it was just me out here. And you were a kid, and a lot of the things that you had dealt with and experienced, I had no fucking business dealing with and experiencing on my own the way that I did. I should have had the tools. I should have been given the resources. I should have had my family be like, oh my God, my daughter just underwent this massive, you know, traumatic event, positive and negative, because like I said, there's more to the story that I just don't have time to share right now. But just to drop a little nugget, and then I gotta go in and see, I gotta see what time it is. But I had met my biological family at my biological brother's funeral for the first time ever. And I was 19 years old when this happened. 19! I was a fucking kid! It's insane. Like, I'm in my mid-30s right now, like, talking about the story. And I'm like, oh my God, bitch, you was a child when this happened. And then I remember my mom went back to work after that. Like, it ain't nothing but chicken wing, but she had to fucking provide for herself. She was just going through a divorce. There was so much shit happening in my life at that time that the only thing that I knew how to do to get through that moment was, I was like, you know what, Jordan, yes, come over. We listened to, in my car, my Chevy Malibu in my driveway, and then I literally gotta go inside, Cinema by, I think it's Skrillex, right? You are a cinema, I could watch you forever. Action thriller, I could watch you forever. Ooh. You are a cinema, a Hollywood treasure. Love you just the way you are, my cinema, my cinema. Okay, that was the song that was playing, and that was the first time I ever smoked weed and got high. And that was the first time I ever learned what, oh my God, I don't have to feel anything feels like. It was so magical. Okay, it was so fucking magical. Oh my God, let me eat this. It was so magical because I was already, I'm so sorry, I'm talking my mouth full. I was already going through so much that I didn't have my mom. She was going through her own shit. She was never emotionally available at all. Like, never. Love my mom, but she was just not emotionally available. My dad's a narcissist. Straight up. My dad's a narcissist. He doesn't care. He's emotionally detached. Like, if it's not going to benefit him or impact him, he doesn't give a shit, you know? Whether it's happening to people around him, he does not care if it doesn't even impact him. And then he's going to be upset when he's not getting what he wants from people when they've underwent a massive fucking trauma. Okay, let me calm down. So I was out here on my own. My siblings detached. My sibling, like, that's just the real. You know what I mean? And I'll put more of this shit in my book, but I just had to get this out right now, okay? So that's what it was. I had no business going through this. You had no business going through this. You were a kid. And now this is your opportunity to heal through some of those traumas and give yourself freedom, a space to exhale. More control over your life now that you know the source and where everything comes from, and you are able to identify and really take accountability and ownership of the fact that, like, you did what you could with the best that you, I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got, okay? That's what it's giving. So anyways, I gotta go. We'll talk later.